What's up, everybody? I am coming at you with a live stream. It's been a minute. Oh my god, I haven't done this in I don't know, like 7 or 8 months. I think the last one of these I did was before Depticon last year, and mostly because of just time constraints. But I find myself not filming right now on Wednesdays. I did a bunch of errands today and decided I was just gonna come down and do a live stream. I had to I was meaning to start this at noon, but apparently all my software is all jacked up and not able to actually stream. I had to update everything and put it up together. So, hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good Wednesday, and maybe this will become a regular thing. I don't know. I got tons of shit I gotta build, so I figured why not just fucking do it. I got the new Slaves to Darkness. I'm gonna put these guys together. I also went and clipped 14 extra hand weapons because I'm gonna build all these guys extra hand weapons if I can, and try not to fuck it up and basically just hang out with you guys and talk. And this is not a piece of ash. I'm not gonna do a big spread list thing of questions. This is all just off the cuff. Let's build and paint some shit maybe whenever I feel like it. Oh my god, these bases are enormous. Check out these new Slaves to Darkness. I got a big shout out to Ryan Quinlan who sent these to me for Christmas. This was a Christmas present I got. They are super baller, and I've taken a look at the sprues before, but I hadn't really given them much of a look, and I figured what I was going to try and do, because I don't want to build them with shields, I want to build them extra hand weapons, was see if I can't convert a whole bunch of these to be double hand weapon guys instead of shield guys, because the double hand weapon guys seem like they are awesome. But yeah, before I jump in and start doing this, I got my Tamiya cement. I got my actually I should probably show this camera. I've got my 25-year-old GW hobby knife and 25-year-old GW clippers. They're pretty jacked up now. Actually, the spring and shit's gone off them, so they're not really working as well. But let's see what's going on in the chat and say hi to everybody and be like, what's up? Who we got? Oh my god, I haven't talked to most of you guys in forever. Mark Fallows, DM Dave is here. James Lee, Andreas, Ugland, Wild Hobbying, Charlie Cooper, some kind of symbol. Mini Painting Studio, oh cool, holy crap. Cut away from the hospital. Seaman Soltis, James Lee, Redarkle, who else we got? Niles Verschure, Kiro Has, Ben Itreed, I'm just going through these way too fast. Frostform, and Brian Sheehan. This is the first or regular feature experiment. Can it be all three? Because I think it's gonna be all three. And then Soper Bear, John Walders, Obvious Troll. He's so obvious. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in and start building these. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day today. I am gonna be jumping off of here in about an hour to go get the boy from school. But I figured why not just hang out and do some hobby. And let's start with the big boy. Chaos Sword on Karkadrak. Karkadrak, that's a word. And let's see what we got. Am I going to see Slaves to Darkness tomorrow? Not tomorrow. Jesus Christ, how fast can I paint? I'm not that good. Nobody paints that fast. I mean, I could if it was just like assembled in Prime, but we're not doing. That's not how we do at GMG. This is a Chaos Knight. This is Lizard Boy. Here we go. This looks about right here. So we're looking for 1, 2, and 3. How convenient that the first 3 pieces are 1, 2, and 3. What's going on, Daz Mandalore, Chaplain Rio, Smarduck, and Muppet Minded? Did I bring my googly eyes to attach to the warrior? Don't fucking encourage Owen. It's not cool. My cat just ran away because he's mad that I'm talking so loud. He literally, as soon as he made some kind of comment about googly eyes on like one of the Age of Sigmar Facebook groups, I said some like mean shit about it, and then he sent me a thing that was just an Amazon link to a bag of 10,000 googly eyes. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but it could be that there's gonna be a lot more googly eyes on things because he likes to do shit like that. 1, 2, and 3. So I think the belly piece is number 1. Yeah, there it is. The number 1 is like hidden next to the post there. And I gotta be careful not to clip off these. It looks like something's attached in through there. There's some posts. I always get nervous on clipping off some kind of like important push fit piece here. Number 2, that's number 5. That's number 10. There's number 2 at. Number 3 is this big piece. StarMax, hey Ash, how's your HGB going? Heavy Gear Blitz. Just got myself doing CF and starting up a little group in my area. They all want to go North Star. Yuck. I haven't played with my South in a long time. I have my I have North and South armies for Heavy Gear Blitz, but I haven't played Heavy Gear Blitz in some time because it's just hard to find people to play with. What else am I missing here? Putting in work, getting my mod tribes going for Sphere? I think it's Sphere. I'm bad at saying things. Well, I'm playing more Warcry, says Monley, not Monty, yeah. Since they're chaos, I should put them on square bases to mess with your opponents. Fuck no, I should put them on hex bases. If I really wanted to fuck with people, I would put everything on hex bases like it was 1986. Which would be awesome. But I'd have to then, I think I can find hex bases probably in MDF for like Battletech and stuff. It would be hard to find hex bases otherwise. Where the hell is no? Okay, number 2 is this little janky thing right here. Because then I could truly screw with people, because hex bases just blow people's minds. They don't know what to make of that. Everybody thinks it's going to be Battletech. I don't really like a lot of the new GW push fit sculpts, a lot of shortcuts, which doesn't feel like GW in my opinion, says Kiro Haas. I think the thing I miss the most is the modularity, you know what I mean? Like where you could go through a big ream, like you can still convert everything. It's actually more like converting in like the 80s now than ever before, because there's a lot more hacking stuff up to convert. Like you gotta be willing to like sacrifice big chunks of a model in order to make something, because it's not designed to be as modular. And I'm kind of two minds about that. Like one, it means that people who are converting miniatures, there's no lazy conversions anymore, you know what I mean? There's no like Space Marine captain who's just got like wads of like gear stuck to him basically. And it's all like, you know, it's all very Lego man because it's all push fit. Like you got to actually kind of work at it. But at the same time, it's certainly, I mean, the rules no longer really encourage conversions. Most of the things that you can kind of customize yourself are all rules for older model kits and stuff. So who knows? What else we got here? NWA Tuesdays and Ash Wednesdays, great weeks in 2020. I don't know what NWA Tuesdays is, but if NWA has gotten back together and is doing some live streaming, I mean, with like the ghost of Eazy-E, that'd be pretty rad. What else we got going on? Oh my god, I have the closed captions on, and it's hilarious because it's doing pretty well at like picking up what I'm saying, but every once in a while it's pretty ridiculous. Sphere says, have you thought about doing the Alien RPG from Free League, starting up a group on the 28th? It looks really cool. I think, didn't Modifius do the publishing for it? I saw some pictures of it. It looks pretty rad, actually. And John Walter says he's looking forward to Saga coming up. So am I, actually. My buddies Chris and Alex were in yesterday recording a podcast and talking a bit about what they're doing, and they both play Saga. And I want to paint my Vikings. Although I was kind of pissed because my Footsore order, one of the reasons I didn't play Saga last year, it was like my treat for myself at Christmas last year, but then it took like 3 months to show up. And so when it came in from Footsore, I was just kind of like, bleh, whatever. And I put it in a box and then didn't look at it for a while. Let's just dry fit this to make sure it goes through. And then when I finally got around to looking at it just recently, it was missing a bunch of stuff. And I was just like, oh, well, that sucks. It was missing, I think I had a unit of 12 Levy with bows, and there was only one package of 4 in there. And I was like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted this to just come out of the box and be okay. But it didn't. Okay, I'm really struggling to find out how this goes together. Oh, does it go in here? Does that go together like that? This is kind of like Machiavellian how this gets built. Do you go together there? I don't think so. I am kind of, maybe I start the other side, it'll be more obvious. Do you go on there? That would make sense. Maybe. And then that goes on the outside. This goes on the inside. No, it doesn't look that way. I'm really struggling with this one. What else did I miss? DM Dave, do you think AOS is getting like 40k where like by like round 3 you know who's gonna win, or is that just when I play against Owens Nagash? Running up it like just kind of like crashing into Nagash over and over again is not a good sort of like descriptor of AOS. That's not really how AOS works. I wouldn't take that as like indicative of Age of Sigmar. That's a very uncommon miniature that has a 2+ rerollable save and all of the shit that's going on there. So I don't think it's becoming like 40K, and that I don't think that's a very common occurrence, and it's certainly not been my play experience. That happens a lot. Oh, okay, I finally figured out how in the fuck this goes together. All right, let's put some glue in there. I figured it out, or, you know, my brain finally stopped melting because I've had I discovered there's a 5:45 a.m. this morning again, and it hates me as much as I hate it. There we go, that's together. Malev, my man Malevolent MC is here. Fantastic. If you haven't heard his new album, it is pretty fucking great. So you should go download it if you like hip hop music. He also does all of the painting for Sean's excellent new Seeker's Handbook 2 for Relic Blade. And it's cool that he's here. What's Sphere saying? I'm sure I can look at the book. I know Free Leagues use the engines for their RPGs and just port it over. Yeah, I think that might be it. But if he's doing a Dune RPG, yeah, I heard about that too. Marty Race is here. What's up, man? I'm painting my new Sisters at the moment. Pretty hyped for the new stuff. Looks pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Ryan Alex says it's minus 48 degrees Celsius in the Yukon. Hope everybody's staying warm. Oh my God, that is a legit low temperature. I don't miss like my extremities freezing when I go outside, but then sometimes I do. I mean, it's pretty freaking cold here, but it's not minus 48 Celsius cold. That's eyelashes freezing together cold weather, which I kind of grew up in and don't get as much of in Niagara anymore. We're in a weird January thaw right now where everything's kind of melted, but I'm sure we'll get some cold weather coming back through here. Actually, I think tomorrow actually it drops like 12 degrees or something ridiculous like that. It starts to get cold again. Weird. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm kind of struggling with this guy is there's a lot of like open air gaps in the bottom, and I felt like he wasn't sitting together right, but then when I look at the interior here, it's all flush and like glued. I already don't like this miniature. I mean, I'm gonna like it when it's done and it's built and stuff, but probably not right now. John Wilder says, what sucks, Footsore has been really good to me. Hopefully this was just one of their things. I think it was during their transition from Warbanner to Footsore, and there was just a bunch of shit going on. I love their miniatures. Like, their miniatures are great, don't get me wrong. It was just, you know, when stuff goes wrong like that, and I've already waited so long to get it, I just get sour, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna try and fix this. I'm just gonna deal with it the way it is. And it's been so long now, and they've got two distribution things in the US and UK. I'm just like, nah, I don't care now. I'm done. I will put these together at some point, but not right this second. Although I started building regular Vikings last week, and also one of my lords, which I'm pretty jazzed about. Marek says, see you struggle to find more pieces together. That reminds me, I didn't build anything from GMG in years, and last week I built the Sylvaneth starter box. That treatment is, oh my God. Having built 3 of them now, yeah, the treatment is a pig. It is not something I enjoy building. I have a couple more in a box, actually, that I could at some point build, but having built like a Tree Lord, a Durthu, and 2 Ancients, I am pretty filled up on that. I'm okay. Dave Moffat says, my family's freezing up in the Yukon. It's minus 31 in Calgary though, which is legit cold. Yeah, I saw some people posting, actually sorry, it was when I was at the gym this morning. I was at the gym at like almost just before 6 a.m. And they've got all the local Canadian news playing at that hour. And there was like fun in Calgary, different things you can do. Is people like soaking clothes and see if they get like a suit of clothes, just like stand up like there's a person in it because it would freeze so fast. Just random shit like that was pretty funny. Travis England says, are you doing any Aeronautic or Necromunda Dark Uprising content soon? Well, I'm ready to do Necromunda Dark Uprising. I am just waiting on Chris to finish his Corpse Grinders. If you go check out Way of the Brush and see how he's coming with that, like the Judge Dredd gang is almost done. They're basically like half painted, but I don't take quite as long to paint as he does. So I'm just kind of like idling on other projects while he finishes painting his Corpse Grinders, and then we will kick ass through some Dark Uprising. You have 3 more episodes of that Necromunda gang raids to go through because we did the whole supplement in one day, me and Mitch. And that means that, you know, you're at least like 5 weeks away from Dark Uprising coming out because there's at least that many. There's 3 more with stuff in between. Necromunda episodes that are already filmed in the bag, which will come out before that. Many Pink Seas, have ever played Cav by Town Games? Yeah, I've played Cav ages ago, but I mean long before I had this channel. So I haven't played Cav in years. I think I played Cav when it was still Reaper Cav, not when it was the new Cav. But you know, never say never, right? Like it's one of those games that just refuses to go away. It's been around forever, and it seems like it's going to stay around forever. So I don't know where my Cav minis are. They are probably in my storage locker, which requires an expedition to to go and find typically. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna ever play it again. It just means that like if a new edition comes out or somebody does some new, I'll probably go dig out all my old models, as I want to do. Jonathan Eads says, currently finishing my Chaos Knights for my second start collecting box as I watch. Thanks for streaming. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. This was one of those days where like it's fairly cold out and I hadn't warmed the studio up. I have a space heater that I usually turn on when I go in there because it's a big warehouse space, right? It's just the front office of a warehouse. And so it was relatively cold in there, and I was out running errands, did like all my errands for the morning. I got my oil changed and did some banking and went and saw my accountant and stuff. And then I was like, I could go and sit and build these in my freezing cold studio, or I could just go home and do this and maybe just do a live stream. And that seems like it's okay. All right, there we go. We got this jabroni's body done, which was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's got what I like too is it has some interior architecture. You can see here there's like posts and stuff that are holding it all together, so it's not like collapsing in my hands, which is cool. Underdog says, hey Ash, we want more Blackstone Fortress. Well, clearly you want more Blackstone Fortress. I don't know if there's a we, but I also want to play more Blackstone Fortress. I love Blackstone Fortress because it's something I can film by myself, which is pretty rad. Like it's nice to be able to have content that I can just make when I feel like it if there's not anybody coming in. I'm looking for 6, 7, 8 here. But I want to do it with all the new adventures, which just means, again, time. There's only one me, and I don't play with unpainted minis, so I got to get that stuff done. But those new models are pretty badass. That's 6, 8, and 7 is just the tongue. Oh, that's an obnoxious piece. That's one of those ones that like I would have not even seen that it existed if there wasn't a number next to it. These clippers are a pain in the ass because the spring's broken on them, so they don't bounce back open. So you kind of have to keep a finger in between to keep it going. Makes them not as much fun to use. Daka Flack of Flame saying hi. Hey, what's up, man? Demon Lizard from Outer Space. That's great. Hey, everybody in Greece from Germany. That's a great. I love that every time I see a name on YouTube like this, somebody's in the chat, I have to realize that someone has that email address and that someone has written that down and emailed somebody with it too. It makes me happy. John Paul says, Christian really have a YouTube channel where he unboxes Kev Adams orcs, or is that just a joke that went over my head? No, if you go back to that that video, I linked it, I'm pretty sure, in the description, so you can just go find it. It's Gimme Dem Gobos, I think, but he's actually starting his own thing now. He wants to do some Old Hammer stuff and some narrative stuff, and so you'll probably hear about that next weekend. We recorded a podcast talking about it, which will be out next Sunday. Not this Sunday, we're doing something else this Sunday. Jack Benedetti says, I almost said Bendetti. Thank you for the Titanicus game. I'm building Grandmaster Box from my shame pile, and I can't wait to play it. It's a great game. It's nice because it's crunchy and it takes a while. Like, you don't die super fast. Not a lot of alpha striking unless you're playing with the old Broken Knight rules. Make sure you read up on the FAQs and stuff, though, because they slow the game down quite a bit, which helps it to not feel so frantic. I think this is how this wants to go. How's this tongue go in? Doesn't seem. Oh, is that a hole for the tongue? Or does it go there? I think it goes this way. Nope, that's not how that goes. Oh, this tongue's annoying. Oh, that's super annoying. That's not even remotely fun to put in. Okay, that's gonna go like that. Looks like. I think. Let me just look at a picture and see if I'm right. I mean, I guess that's how that goes. So this is one of those ones where I'm taking a guess. It seems to lay in here okay. Let's see if it goes together like that. Mr. Chaos Lord on a Karkadrak. This is one of those armies where I'm really tempted to paint it one miniature at a time, which is not my usual MO for getting armies done. What's up, Haggard Blaggard? Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Ash, thanks on Elder Scrolls Call to Arms by Modifius. I'm actually kind of jazzed about it. I was looking at the pictures that they put up the last little while of like the frames and the sprues and stuff, and it looks like the walls are gonna be like some kind of hard plastic, which I was really surprised by. I'm actually pretty stoked about it because it looks like it's gonna be a lot more. I think like, I don't say polished, but like a lot more what people are expecting a miniature war game to be with like a AAA name like that. Versus there was a lot of like, when they got PVC and they got resin and stuff, it was a little more board game plastic in the first one. A lot of people were like kind of put off by it. So I'm pretty jazzed about it. Fire Drake 18, I think Ash intentionally stopped covering the games in a like Core Space, Blackstone Fortress, and Crisis Protocol. Maybe a bit early for Crisis Protocol. I don't intentionally stop covering anything. It's just there's so many fucking games. Like, it's more usually what happens to get a game sort of like not back in rotation, but like kicked off when it's new is new content. So like with Crisis Protocol, there's not that much stuff out. We just played a game with Venom and the Cosmic Encounter with Ultron. Me and Mike, but besides the Wakandans, which Mike's painting up, there's nothing really new for it. I mean, we'll play a game when he's got that stuff painted, and he's already painted Venom, so like that's already finished because I think he's on the buddy list for Crisis Protocol, so he's getting stuff early. So I'm kind of just not paying attention to it because I have stuff painted, and if he wants to play, we'll play. But like when you play the same game over and over again, I don't think it's interesting for you guys to watch. So I wait until there's something new kind of coming out for it. With Core Space, we diverted on to another indie game, which is whatchamacallit, the Zone Runners right now. So we're just kind of in the midst of doing that. It's not that we won't come back to Core Space, but there was a whole glut of indie games that came out around the same time. And we're just kind of trying to hammer through them. And like I'm still working on Zone Alpha now with Jay and stuff too. It's never like a desire not to play the game or like that I'm just gonna drop it. It's that once we've done like a Let's Play and stuff and people have seen it played, if there's like a huge long line of other new shit coming out, I want to get onto it too so that people can see it. And it doesn't mean we'll never come back to it. It usually means it takes a while for us to kind of turn the car back around and not get busy with something else. Dicey Guy says, yo motherfuckers. What else we got? I had to use glue because I broke some parts. Dude, you literally do some of the best battle ups online in the Legend. Ads 1989. Thanks, Ads. That's so cool. Thank you for saying that, man. I mostly just have a camera come along with me and my buddies. So the fact that you enjoy it is great because we're just fucking about and recording at the same time. That was basically my day yesterday and the day before. Chris Salmon came in on Monday. He was the fella that did the original Warhammer Skirmish stuff with me. I don't know if you guys remember that with the Skaven and the Bretonnians. And he's painted a Lizardman Warband. I put some pictures up on Facebook of it, and we had a great day on Monday, just literally screwing about. And he went home, and we've kind of like, he's kind of collected the stuff he always wanted to collect now, which was the Lizardman Bretonnians from the 5th edition starter set. And so now he's like, what else could we do? And I was like, well, I don't know, man. I got a whole storage unit full of 40K stuff. And he's like, I think I have a 2nd edition 40K army. And I was like, wow. Maybe that's the next thing we'll do. So you might see us playing some pure 2nd edition 40K, but like not codexes, like Codex Imperialis 2nd edition 40K, where we're just using the black and white book that came in the starter set, which I think is the best version of that game because you don't get all the crazy special rules that were in there. What else going on? 12 Neefs here. It's a nice treat to work at work, so I can't stay long. No worries, dude. Thanks for jumping in and saying hi. What solo game do you know that you would recommend? Sorry, Load Your Cronum just asked this. Kind of depends on what you want. There's a solo game right now for almost every denomination of game. You can play, if you want some post-apocalyptic stuff solo, you can play Fallout solo. If you want some fantasy, there's always Rangers of Shadowdeep, but there's a new solo set of rules now for Frostgrave as well. And of course for sci-fi, Core Space has solo rules. There's plenty of solo stuff out there. It kind of just depends on what models you want to use. So yeah, we're kind of spoiled for choice. I can remember a year ago saying, like in one of my Piece of Ashes, just being like, this is one of the biggest low-hanging fruit areas right now in wargaming, is games that you can just play anytime. Like you don't need another opponent. You can build a cool collection and whatever that you want and go to it. And it's even starting to get in RPGs. I noticed there's a ton. Actually, Jay, this week, if you want to go check it out, has been reviewing all the solo D&D supplements that are coming out right now. And I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. Where we go? Haggard Blackett says, my girlfriend found a complete box of Epic Space Marine 89 at a charity shop for a couple pounds. What a good day. Isn't that the best feeling when you just randomly come across like some random pile of old miniatures somewhere? I 100% know how that feels, and it's great. And even cooler that someone that wasn't you recognized it for what it was and brought it home to you, because that is the best feeling. I've found, it's funny because just recently we were in a shop and I found a whole bunch of old like Warhammer Fantasy Army books and the skirmish book too, and I bought them like impulsively. Like I don't need them. I have all the books, but it was, I bet someone else could totally use this. I did a shout out on my Patreon. I was like, hey, does anybody need any of these army books or any of these skirmish books? And just like gave them away to it was like first come, first serve. Just kind of gave them away to everybody that was there, because I felt like I felt like that was important. I felt like it was cool to find a good home for these things, because when you find them in like that charity shop, they might just get thrown out eventually. Nobody buys them. It's weird. It's almost like I feel like you're placing rescue animals in good homes because you don't want them to get tossed. You just care about them that much. C. Medalla says, I'm heading to Toronto in a couple weeks for work. Any recommendations on things to check out? Dude, I don't know. Honestly, all the cool shit that was in Toronto when I lived there isn't really there anymore. We're kind of at, I don't say Toronto's in decline, but Toronto's tearing down old cool places to build condos, and so there's not that many great like niche hole-in-the-wall places to go check out. If you ever want to go to a huge gaming store, though, go check out Meeple Mart. It's on Dundas West, and it's Canada's kind of like it's basically miniature market, but Canada. So it's just full of like tons of stuff, and everything from like board games to RPGs to miniature games. And because there's lots of old stuff there too, you can dig sometimes and find like the odd gem. He'll buy random stuff, and it'll just kind of sit there until somebody comes along that wants it. So if you want to see some big piles of gaming stuff, go check out Meeple Mart. There's a ton of stuff there, and it's kind of like if I was gonna say, if you're ever gonna visit Calgary, the Sentry Box is like that in Calgary. Just like massive amounts of cool stuff that you can wade through and eventually find something you like. I remember being there with Jay actually in like 2007. We were doing a tour of like GW stores, and finding like a whole drawer of just like FASA's Vor stuff. And this is like 10 years after Vor's been into production, so it was just crazy. Dicey Guy, drop like people, make your YouTube's algorithm show Ash up on all of the tubes. Thank you. Drop those likes. I don't know if that works when you're not streaming video games, when you're just some fucking middle-aged dude building miniatures and talking shit, but hopefully it does. Maybe I can get the algos talk about something important. Who else is here? Dan Horton says, hey Ash, I love your show and different games you play, but any chance you and Steve get together and play Warhammer Fantasy Triumph and Treachery? I mean, I actually saw Steve for the last time at Adepticon. Like, I haven't seen Steve in ages. Just because he's so busy, I guess. He's super busy with work. I mean, I can't imagine they're not busy over there at Mini Wargaming doing like the whatever it is they do. And doesn't he have some like crowdfund now where he's playing fantasy? So there should be more fantasy stuff coming up for him. I imagine they've raised a bunch of money to record fantasy games, I thought. So there should be some there. Just subscribe to Give Me Them Gobos. Thanks, Ash. Yeah, awesome. I don't know if that's ever getting updated again, because that was literally just my buddy Chris opening miniatures and recording shit on his phone, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The chaos that is Give Me Them Gobos. C. Medalla says, Meeple Mart's like 5 blocks from the office we'll be at. I may dive into that rather than loud bars with coworkers. You're gonna have some time to dig. Trust me, it's a lot of stuff. I don't know. Dan Harris, my girlfriend of many years had a child, but he isn't mine. I got the DNA test and he isn't mine. I don't know what to do. Oh geez, man, I got no advice for you here, bro. That's heavy though. Ugh, that sucks. Yeah. I mean, you can pipe off in the chat there, guys, and maybe give them some advice, but I just know tomorrow's another day, and kids are a blessing, no matter whose they are. There's never a day that my kids don't bring me a whole bunch of joy. So yeah, I don't know, that's some heavy shit. Jesus Christ, that sucks. DM Dave says, do you ever buy a model? Sorry, this chat's moving so fast. That is no game system just because you wanted to do it. WizKids Pre-Prime Transformers that just came out. Oh my god, I didn't even know there was WizKids Pre-Prime Transformers. I would totally buy those. Maybe I could do them for Gamma Wolves, just like a whole Transformer gang. That'd be cool. Yeah, all the time I buy miniatures just because. We're getting ready to do some D&D stuff with Jay at the end of the month, hopefully. Some one-shots. And so right now I'm in the like market for a cool miniature for my character idea that I have. But you'll find out more about that on Sunday. You don't need to find out about that right now. Dan Horton says, have you and Owen stopped playing 40K because you haven't done anything in a while? No, we never stopped playing anything. It's usually just where our interests, like Owen and I are just two people, you know what I mean? Like if we're playing 3 or 4 games at the same time, some just get shuffled out and shuffled in. Like right now we're both building armies for Kings of War 3. He wants to do whatchamacallit, he wants to do AOS at Adepticon this year, so he's working on stuff for AOS. And it doesn't mean we don't play 40k anymore. I mean, it's easy to find people to play 40k against. It's more just we're on other projects. We're both really liking Zone Raiders, and so just there's only so many hours in the day, right? Shandog50 says, "Hey Ash, any thoughts or hopes for Infinity N4?" Oh man, I don't know. Infinity is it's hard for me to say really, because Infinity is a game where I've played it so much that I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'd wish for anymore, because we've played with so many different armies and such a variety of different ways of playing it that I don't know what my N4 hopes are. I think just to de-emphasizing fire teams, I think, is one. Trying to balance out order skew is another. Like, how do you manage armies that can just take 1,000 million orders, and kind of what that means for game balance, because just activation control is a really big part of the game. And I guess more ways to play the game, like more ways than just ITS to play the game, because ITS feel like a really important role of giving people missions and ways of playing, but I'm not compelled by the ITS missions because I can't really hear the drums. You know what I mean? Like they feel a little more Halo deathmatch mappy than here's the story of what's happening. None of them are asymmetrical. They're all symmetrical. They don't tell as much of a story as I wish they did. Certain ones do, for instance. So like Hunting Party does, Unmasking does. Like there's some missions I really like, but then other ones like Supremacy and Quadrant Control, they're a little more paintball, kind of like play by numbers, than kind of like narratively driven. So I guess that's really my hope, is that the skewing and the powertrain building of like, hey, I started building my Link team. Here's my new army. I'm going to start by deciding what Link team I'm making. Like, I want that to go to the game, or just maybe de-emphasized. And then, yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Ben says, God tier. Yeah, Ben's super jazzed about God tier. Yeah, I don't know. Ben's super jazzed for God tier. He just painted a Sneaky Pete, which I'm terrified of because I haven't actually got that model. I don't know what it does, but I've heard it's really, really good. Come in soon, Ben, and play some God tier, because Owen's not into it. I think it's just too board gamey for him. But I'm super jazzed still to play, and I've got tons of models to try out. So let's do it. The Malevolent MC is eating waffles, apparently. Well, that's an exciting update. And then Miniature Wargaming Warriors, are we getting a Let's Talk this week? I need it for painting, and that's getting me going. You're getting something other than a Let's Talk this week, but it's still like a roundtable sit and chat, so you'll hopefully enjoy that. And I've already got a Let's Talk film for the week after. Let's Talk's one of those things where I don't want to just I don't want to do what I'm doing right now in Let's Talk. I want Let's Talk to always have like a person that's interesting to talk to on it. I don't want to just have me sitting and bullshitting into the air. This can be that part. Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. Dave Moffat says, any word if Frostgrave 2 lets you level up your henchmen? And man, I want more Mechgrave. Hopefully it's still in Joseph's go-to pile. And I'm into God tier 2. Yeah, okay. Well, you should pick a box and bring them in. Yeah, no, Frostgrave 2 is done, I think, with the publisher. I don't know much more than that, except I'm pretty excited about it because we loved Frostgrave, and more Frostgrave 2 Electric Boogaloo will be a lot of fun. We'll see what Joe's come up with. I'm pretty jazzed for seeing what's what, though. What else we got? Joel Short says, Colin says, are you looking to play any D&D? Yeah, you'll find out about that on Sunday. Actually, we're doing D&D this month. We're having the classic problems of D&D groups everywhere, where it's just trying to get 4 people in a room together is not the easiest thing to do, and we keep setting dates, and somebody's got to cancel. So it's not for lack of desire. It's more for the usual reasons why D&D groups are always struggling to try and play more games, is because you just got to get more people in a room together. And sorry, Joel Short said, on the AOS side, what are you hoping for in Wrath the Everchosen? Any hopes for you'll be facing off against Owen's Ossiarch Bone Reapers of Slave's Darkness? No, he got rid of his Bone Reapers. They've been gone for a while. That battle report you guys are seeing today was our last hurrah with the Bone Reapers. That was the final showdown, and then he was just so bored of them because he'd played them a whole bunch, and when he went to build variant lists, he just came back to but why wouldn't I just use Nagash, or I could use Archon, and it's just the same as Nagash except I've got 40 sword guys. I think he burned out on them really fast, and so he decided to get rid of them, and I wasn't unhappy about it, especially seeing how well they're doing in tournaments and stuff. It definitely seems like they are hugely things, or hugely hugely competitive and doing really well in tournaments and stuff too. Where we got Danny Hale says, second comment that was missed. Just wondering what your thoughts are on Bolt Action. You played it before, or do you just prefer sci-fi and fantasy? So I love Bolt Action. It's a great game. I actually have a big Canadian Army. Actually, one of my favorite things that John did when he made the Bolt Action British was he made the option of them all being Canadians, because he put Tommy guns on the sprue along with stun guns, because the Tommy guns, the Canadians are equipped by the Americans, and so they had American SMGs for their NCOs. And so I have a platoon of Canadians, actually. I was going to do the Devil's Brigade, but the game's just one of those games where, you know, I've played it a bunch before I started GMG, and so I wasn't like really in a hurry to do it. What I would like to play more of is Conflict 47, because I have a bunch of Conflict 47 Americans to paint, and it was more just finding an opponent that wanted to play them with me, so I could do some Canadian Conflict 47 games and just add in like the werewolves and the zombies and stuff. Not because I don't like doing World War II, but World War II, obviously, the games can get a little either repetitive or dry, because, you know, they're based on history and you're just doing historical stuff. And when I insert zombies and, you know, werebears and things, I just personally get more excited about it because there's just a more variety of things to paint. And then 2, I think it's just come up on a new edition, but that's kind of past now, so we're on to kind of the next thing. But we'll see. I mean, I'm never saying never. If someone wants to come in and play it, I'll certainly play with them. Brian Damrus says, I backed the Infinity RPG on Kickstarter that fills out the world. I think now that the world's been fleshed out, there may be something to put a narrative out there. I hope so too. I think that the narrative is already really amazing in Infinity. It's just a matter of the more they play around in it, you know what I mean? The more we know about it, the more they can do. And I think there's lots of options for doing narrative Infinity gaming. Daedalus Falls had that cool little re-up of the rules for the Paradiso campaign stuff, the campaign rules, which I thought were great. I just would like to see something, you know, even go further, I guess. What else we got? Jonas Kaufman, hey Ash, you've talked about GW AOS saying 40k. Do you think it will still happen? And if so, how do you think the player base will react? I think they're really nervous about continuing to streamline 40k. I don't know. That 40k has been through such a weird edition in 8th edition, because it started off as this incredibly open-ended, take what you want game, and you could feel the players react to it. I think the initial sales of it were so good because it was just like, here's the Imperium keyword, here's this huge like palette of things that you could like play with and do and try and mix and match, and everyone was so excited because there's so many options. But then, like with every edition of every Games Workshop game, it boils down to here's the standard way to play, you know, 2,000 point games, whatever, tournament format, blah, blah, blah. And the emphasis the community puts on playing strangers, which I don't think is actually the majority of games that get played in wargaming. I think that 90% of the games that happen in basements and between friends and stuff like that. But the games that happen in public, which is games that happen in stores and games that happen in tournaments, they really do take the front seat, and people start to think that this is kind of like, this is how the game has to be played. And I think with 8th edition, that's what happened, was the 2,000 point games became the way you played the game, and from there out, if you were playing the game a different way, then, you know, you were kind of like the outlier. And then that's where we got things like the rule of 3 and like this like contraction basically of what the game initially was, which was this kind of cool open-ended, take what you want. You know, like there was this big backlash against Unbound in 7th edition, but then they made the game Unbound and everyone like cheered. And as someone sort of standing 10 feet back from it, because I wasn't, you know, playing in tournaments and hugely passionate about the game when it got redone, I kind of watched all this unfold over the course of 8th edition, and then watched Games Workshop like rein it back and make the game more and more like tournament focused. And because, like it or not, when you put in a rule like the rule of 3, oh, you don't want to go in. This peg doesn't want to go in. There we go. Everybody adopts it because everybody plays every game as if it was a tournament game. You know what I mean? Getting ready for a tournament. There we go. This guy's all done. He's pretty rad. I like him with the helmeted head. That's why I decided to build him with the helmeted head over the other head, because it's just cooler to have a big menacing faceless death dealer. Anyway, he's awesome. Oh, my phone's blowing up. And yeah, the game kind of like retracted basically into being this like tournament focused, kind of like, I don't say bland, but you know, not as exciting game. And I think while it did speed up, it didn't speed up all the way. I do kind of hope that there's going to be more sort of like process removal in it, where you're not like rolling 7,000 dice to you know, generate numbers of wounds. I do think damage attribution in AOS is better, but I don't think they're going to go all the way with it and make it super simple, because I think they're fairly aware of the fact that their bread is buttered with 40k, and they're not going to go and try and change it all anytime soon. Tim Cowley, Dan Harris, sorry for bringing down the live stream mood. Sometimes I don't know who to turn to. Hey, no worries, you got it out. That's important. There's no harm in getting it out. Just let's talk about toy soldiers, and you can hopefully just take your mind off things. Tim Cowley, Silver Tower, Mike Funling, that box is fantastic when it's done, but it makes you work for it. Josh Caps, this guy's a pain to put together. Who else we got? I'm just trying to figure out what I missed here. Kelly was very different from D&D in a bad way, but this was more on the party being goal-oriented. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what I'm missing now. People are just talking to each other. Dicey Guy, 2 good reasons to visit Canada. Me and David. Oh, awesome. Well, that's very flattering. Thank you. All right, let's find what we're doing for Chaos Warriors here. Oh, Jesus, I just got bits everywhere. Oh, it wants me to do the Knights next. I'm not as excited about the Knights. Let's do some actual Chaos Warriors. Here we go. The Sparring Champion. 54, 51, and 53. Oh, God. That's a lot of numbers that are big. 55. No, I'm holding the wrong sprue. Of course I am. Are you on this frame? 54, 55, and 53. No, I'm just blind. I hate this part. I hate finding the numbers. This is the worst part. What else we got? Dicey Guy, isn't Canada like one city? No. Dan Horton says, what do you think could improve the game of A Song of Ice and Fire? Song of Ice and Fire is an interesting game because it's so young. It's really hard to say what would make it better. And there's certain things they're going to change and certain things they're not going to change. Like, for instance, right now they can't really change the tactics decks because they have to sell new ones. It's the only thing you can't really update digitally, and there's some tactics cards that are like worded differently, but they're the same card. Like, there's 2 versions of Devastating Impact right now. I think it's Devastating Impact because I think the Targaryens have it and also the Starks do. Just little things like that. Like, Cool Mini's a very board game driven company, and so I think they look at everything through the lens of board games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that makes it very like asset reliant. Like, you need your cards to be correct, you need your deck to be correct, blah blah blah. And I think they could do with maybe standing back a few feet and trying to think of how they could make their game a little more immersive. Because there's some things that are problematic, like charges are problematic right now, and there's certain rules where, you know, you can create untenable situations on the game table intentionally that can be abused, and also that just the rules can't cover because some of the mechanics are not entirely clean. They had a big update 1.5, and I don't know how that's shaking out right now because obviously just changing the way the models flee. Panic was a pretty core mechanic of the game, and it went from a linear, if you do damage, to if you fail a morale check, you just directly take damage in a line, to being random. And there's lots of arguments back and forth about, you know, it being more consistent damage, but also, you know, whether or not it can kill things and blah blah blah. You had low morale troops that wouldn't take a lot of damage, but now they take an average amount of damage instead. I think that the biggest thing I would say with Song of Ice and Fire is they need to stop tinkering with it so early. We're just past a year in the game, and we've had like a pretty radical edition change to like the 1.5. Just let people play the game. You know, if it's broken, it's broken, and that's great. But then change it all at once. Don't try and change. What's the term? Don't try and change horses midstream, I guess is the classical term, which is just a nice way of saying, if you're in the middle of doing something pretty serious, like establishing a player base and selling a whole bunch of shit and getting people to buy collections of miniatures, and there's so much the game does right, because it passes the Christmas morning test so well. But at the same time, like, if you're in the middle of like establishing yourself as a game company or as like a brand, basically, don't be throwing the value of things people purchase all around. Like, they've drastically changed the values of some units, like the Flayed Man and just stuff that it did one thing a month ago and I bought it, and then it does something else 6 months from now. And I'm personally hard to upset that way, but some people are not gonna be as sort of like, I guess, forgiving. What else we got here? Dan Horton, do you have any idea or planning on running other tournaments of Sun Basin Fire games like I did last year? Not at the moment. People are actually running tournaments, so I don't have to run them anymore. I did it mostly just to kick off interest in the area, and now we've got like a monthly tournament happening at Black Knight and yada yada yada. So I might go stream games from one of those tournaments at some point, but like I did with Clarence's tournament, but I'm not running one myself, I don't think, because there's other people doing that now. I'm more the guy that's like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if, and I try and get the ball rolling, and then once the ball's rolling, I'll just step back and let other people make the decisions and do what they want to do. Number 50, there's number 50 right there. Oh, can I make this guy with two hand opens? I think I can. Some of these guys, the shields are just like straight up modeled onto them, and I'm trying to avoid those right now because I want to do the ones that I can convert. Oh, Lieberek, watching you get frustrated with those single pose models I'm using to watch. I usually just get frustrated and stick together as best as possible and stick stuff over to cover up the mistakes. Yeah, he went together okay. It's just I think one of those things is that the fitting is so perfect that it's actually hard. You know what I mean? It's when something's fit together so tight that it's actually hard to put together. That's part of the problem. But then I've got like meat hooks, you know what I mean? And I'll crush things if I push too hard. So it gets problematic. What else we got here? Braden Hunter says, so more BFG anytime soon? I was actually just talking about that yesterday with Alex and Chris. Alex found his BFG Necron fleet, Tyrian fleet, and I have a Necron fleet I have to paint, which I'm pretty jazzed about to throw down some more BFG. So there is definitely BFG in the future. It's just more a matter of when, because we also really want to do Warhammer Quest, which is a huge pile of models that I couldn't bring myself to speed paint because I'm so happy about them. I want to take some time and actually enjoy them. Fire Drake 18, I feel like Ash was constantly painting 40k was my first game. I haven't played since the first month of 8th. Painting on GW models reinvigorates me. Totally. Jonas Coffin, Ash and his Christmas morning test. Well, it's a legit test. If you want to make a great product, remove the barriers to people enjoying the product, right? That's the great lightning in a bottle that X-Wing was when it first came out, was I think because of the fact that the Christmas morning test was just instantly passed. You open it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You took your ships out, punch tokens, and you're playing X-Wing. Song of Fire does the same thing. And that Christmas morning test, the less time there is and the less barriers there are to having fun in between the beginning and the end, the more easy it is for people to get into it. Joel Schritz says, what glue are you using? I'm using Tamiya Model Master Cement. This is like the best plastic cement I think on the market. It's a brush on. Dicey Guy says, minus 1.3 Celsius here in Norway. That seems very warm for Norway for right now. I'd imagine it'd be colder this time of year. But maybe not. And do I want to do the helmeted head for the champion? Yeah, of course I do. Come on. Of course I want to do the helmeted head. And it's number 55. Where are you at, helmeted head? That looks like you right there. Yep, that's you. Let's get you out of there. Haggard Blackguard, did you ever go to War Games Foundry in the UK? It's based in Old Mansion. So I went to War Games Foundry for the last time when it was still based downtown in Nottingham. And I did it when they released the Warhammer Historicals Great War. And I bought my German World War I army there. But I also bought a couple of other bits and pieces for my World War I British Army, well, Canadian Army actually. And they made me a Mark I tank. And what was cool was I asked if they had one. They said they didn't have it in stock. So the guys actually went in the back and spun it for me in the spin caster while I waited, while I walked around looking at Street Balance figures and Judge Dredd stuff. And when they brought it back, it was in that great black kind of hard card foundry packaging that had the batten and stuff on it. And when he handed it to me, the box was warm because it was so fresh out of the mold. That's one of my favorite foundry stories, was the last time I was there. Because I wanted something and they literally just made it on demand because they just don't stock a bunch of those. It's a big model kit. But being handed the box and have it still be warm in my hand, there was this weirdly elated feeling I got from doing it that I thought was pretty cool. Hal Martin, thanks Hal. And I mean, just thank you. You super chat and even didn't say anything, so thank you, Hal. What else we got? Jeff Hanley says, how's it going? Hey Jeff, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing good out there in Seattle. It's not raining too hard on you. I heard the weather was bad. No, you got a snowmageddon, I think, out there just recently, so hopefully you're digging yourself out. Jonas Kaufman, Oh no, it's not. Dude, it wasn't judgment at all. It's fine. There's no judgment there. Watching, one of my favorite things is watching people struggle to do things and then hopefully helping them afterwards. But I totally understand the sentiment. What else we got? Surely a champion should be helmetless. Have I never seen any films? No, come on, man. No, champions don't. You don't live long enough to become a champion by doing that. Firedrake 18. I feel bad for Chris. Ash. Chris is gonna put a whooping on his Necromunda army. Not that I'm throwing shade. Chris, dude. I will say, of the two new factions from Dark Uprising, I am the most terrified of the Corpse Grinders because they like have the most bananas melee attacks I think now they make Goliaths like seem tame basically in Necromunda. So we'll see. Oh yeah, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna get this extra hand open from the old Chaos Warrior frame and just shave down this wrist. And I think we are gonna have a nice simple conversion here. There's gonna be a few I can't do because they have shields, but I'll just replace them with old Chaos Warriors, I think, in the unit. So I'm trying to make a big fat unit of 20 with extra hand weapons because I don't see the point of having the shields. Like, I'll take reroll every single die over having shields at this point. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty good. You guys tell me what you think. Oh geez, the arm's falling off. It didn't glue quite as fast as I thought it was going to. There we go. We'll find this guy at base. He's a pretty baller model, though. I really like that champion. He's cool looking. What else is going on? Kira, have you paid the blood price for Summoning the Slave of Darkness yet? I don't know. We'll see in a few hours how I feel about it. Maybe the maybe the blood price is coming. Daniel Horton, do you ever miss playing Fantasy, or do you prefer playing Age of Sigmar? I miss playing Fantasy, but it's like all things. I love maneuvering games. I think fantasy maneuvering games are fantastic, but there's tons of great ones out there. Kings of War 3 is, I'm going to be playing this week, not this week, 2 weeks from now. I'm going to rebase my ogres and start working on my Northern Alliance, because I finally got movement trays, which is what I was waiting for. And the same thing with the rank and flank stuff for Song of Ice and Fire. Like, I really enjoy both those games. I'm going to skip all the guys with shields right now and try and just do the ones where their shields are on a bare hand. Yeah, the kind of like the I guess the feeling is filled for me with these other games, and so I love playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I just played Warhammer Warbands with Chris recently, which was a lot of fun. But I don't miss playing the game because I've played so much of that game that it's bananas. Like, what I enjoyed was going back and collecting the old models and building a new faction for them. And you know, I'm going to play some more of these Warbands games because they're just like a nice, light, bite-sized Warhammer experience without having to paint 10,000 miniatures. You know, being like, I got my 50 Skaven slaves done, and now I have 50 points in my 2,000 point army. And so I'm not really like it's not that I don't enjoy the game. It's just that there's other things kind of like feeling that experience level now, because there's lots of other games that are in the same kind of vein. What else we got? Dicey Guy says, fuck yeah, Northern Alliance. How, Martin, do you ever consider Star Wars Legion again? It's been a lot of releases since you last covered it. Yeah, I'll totally consider it. I think I'm more excited about this new Old Republic stuff than the original release, because most I like old Star Wars, the droids and the Jedis and stuff. Being able to have lots of Jedis, not just Luke and Vader, is just more interesting, I think. So it's certainly something I consider. It's not a bad game. Like, and painting models is fun. It's just more. It's a mainstream game. I don't think it really needs my help that much, because like it's attached to the Star Wars IP, and there's lots of people already playing it. So like it's not something that's high on my priority list of like, oh, I should show that off. You know, like we did the Let's Play with Clarence, and even he stopped playing it almost. Just shortly after that, because he was, I think, moving on to other things and excited about Song of Ice and Fire. That seems to be his primary game now, is Song of Ice and Fire, which he is most excited about. What else we got? Hal Martin. Oh no, he just says what I just did. Peter Davis said, "Did I miss you giving your verdict on Infinity Defiance?" No, I did a Let's Play for it. They sent me a press kit, so I gave it a try, and it seems super fun. It's got that same narrative element. The models are super cool, and like. I'm looking at it like the old 2009 Space Hulk box. Like, even if you're only going to play the game, like the campaign through once, you get this incredible collection of Infinity miniatures. So why not just buy the collection of Infinity miniatures and enjoy the game as you do, and the amount of stuff you're going to have to play Infinity with afterwards is pretty bananas. So I think it's a great mix of like just value and then also having a cool different game that uses some similar mechanics but a different format for laying them out, because you've got the Aristea dice that you're using this time around for doing your face-to-face rolls as opposed to D20s. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. I'm excited to play the full version. The little demo was a nice taste. What else is going on? Ben says, what's your opinion on the best Chaos God, theme and design, not rule-wise? Oh, that's a tough one, Ben. I know that you love Grandpapa Nurgle. For theme and design, that's a really interesting one, because they've evolved so much over the years. Like, if you think about how they've changed over time, like, I think originally probably Tzeentch was my favorite, just because it was so weird back in the day. Like, of all of them, they was like, Tzeentch was kind of the least attached to like a traditional like Seven Deadly Sins sin. I mean, where like violence was Khorne, and then it was kind of like cheesecake and heavy metal. Khorne was probably my least favorite back then, because it was pretty like just, you know, weird heavy metal demons, the horns kind of stuff. Versus the fact that like you've got just this like weird, like they're all mutants, you know what I mean? The David Bowie kind of androgynous slash stuff from back then was just, you know, it was a theme, but it didn't like particularly interest me. And I did love Nurgle. If I had to rank them, I'd probably say original, like from concept to now, probably Tzeentch is number 1, Nurgle's number 2, Slash is number 3, and then Khorne's number 4. Just because Khorne is, you know, kind of a very straightforward Chaos God. But some of the, and I'm not as big a fan of like the current Tzeentch look, where it's like, hey, we're birds and tentacles and blah, but like the original Tzeentch stuff, where there was like weird, you had like fungus bodies and like just like the weirdest, like, you know, out there shit about mutation and change, and it was about having this like this never consistent sort of like look to your army. It definitely fed into that kind of psychedelic look that Ian Miller and John Blanche were drawing at the time, and the sculptors were into, and it would definitely, I'd say it'd be my favorite. Malal, yeah, bring up Malal. Nuffle is mine, he's the god of all dice. That's true. Nuffle is a great Chaos God. And of course the Great Horned Rat, that's a good point. The Great Horned Rat is a cool Chaos God, although I still think the Great Horned Rat is just a facet of one of the other gods that they're hiding. I wouldn't be surprised if the Great Horned Rat is just like an aspect of all of the other 3 gods. Oh yeah, this guy converts really easy to have 2 hand weapons. That's awesome. His arm's just gonna go in there, and then I'm gonna do helmet heads for everybody. I don't like, unless they have like a crazy mutation that makes it make sense, I don't like Chaos Warriors without helmets. Because I feel like they should just be like these like automatons. Like, if you ever read the old 6th edition fluff for Chaos Warriors, like when you get your Chaos Warrior suit, you never take it off afterwards. Like, one of the reasons that it's a 4+ save is it's like embedded to your body, and I like the idea that you never actually get to take it off again. And so I think the Chaos Warriors should always be wearing helmets. I'm not a fan of them having their helmets off. I don't think it should be possible. Looking for 14 for this one. Cool. Oh, I've got 2 so far that I can do with extra hand weapons, because extra hand weapons look badass. And then we'll fill out the rest. Parzival 13 says, you're doing a painting stream for slaves? No, I'm not. I don't usually do painting streams. I mean, this might turn into a painting stream. This is just gonna be work in progress Wednesday. I'm just gonna, whatever I'm working on is gonna be the thing I'm working on. Building is probably more the correct thing for this show, because the lighting here is, I'm in my dining room right now, so the lighting's not great, and you guys won't be able to see super well what's going on otherwise. This is more just to hang out and talk, and I'd be doing this by myself at the studio otherwise, so I'm just gonna do it at home instead and chat with you guys. But Alice says, old Tzeentch was very trippy. Yes, it was, in an awesome way. Yeah, I like this double-handed weapon guy. He's pretty cool. So there it is. There's my next one, all done up. And then we're on to, I need to move my hands like over here, I think. But the problem is I don't hit my tripod for my camera. What else we got? You become the armor, that's right. Stephen Powell, I don't really like many of the sculpts without helmets. Always wear the brain bucket. That's right. As a guy who used to own a bike shop, a friend of mine, his saying was, do you have a brain? And then wear a helmet. If you have a brain, wear a helmet. Otherwise, you're likely to die. Where are we at now? We're at 16, 17. Yep, this one can also have a double-handed weapon. Cool. 16, 17. I think if I blend these guys together, like the ones that obviously have shields, I'll stick with old cast riders with shields, and I'll make the other ones double-handed weapons, and I should be able to get at least 2 units of 10 out of this. I really didn't want to have a shield unit, but I think it's kind of unavoidable at this point. 16, 17. I don't see you there. What time is it? Oh, 10 to 2. I got like 10 minutes left. Well, I'll build one more guy. And then we'll wrap this up, and we'll see what you guys think. Kira Haas says, I'm glad they're moving the Slash Army away from the whole sex thing. It was never sex before. It was more like weird masochism than it was sex in the old days. They were all wearing like weird bondage gear and stuff like that, but it was about like androgyny more than anything else. It looked like the after party of a David Bowie concert. Everybody's got like different colored eyes, and they're all snorting the warp dust. There's 16 right there. Yeah, it's 16. I gotta find 17 and 18. What else we got going on? Bearded Bookworm says, are the kids napping? Are they old enough that they don't interrupt constantly? The kids are actually at school right now, and I'm gonna go get the boy in about half an hour. So I'm just gonna build one more guy here and get it done. The reason a piece of Ash stopped was actually because Cash was just in school 3 days a week, and I couldn't do it anymore. But now he's in JK, so junior kindergarten. Sorry for those of you that don't use those terminologies. And that means that. This is a possibility again, and as I do need to get things done, this seems like a good way to both satisfy the need for a live stream, which you guys have been asking me about for ages, and I felt bad I wasn't doing anymore, and also do some work and get some shit done, because getting shit done is the name of the game. When you're me and there ain't nobody else, getting shit done is something you pack into every minute you can, if you can. Like, it's funny because Cass is back in school. She's going to school for audio technician right now to add hearing aids to her dentourism business, her mobile business. And so she's in Toronto 2 days a week, which means she leaves at like 6 a.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I have a very early start then, because I have to get up if she leaves by 7, I get up at 5:45. I'm going to go to the gym and then take the kids to school and get their lunches packed and all that stuff. So I get to find other times to pack in all the things I want to do. What else is happening? Do you feel these chaos bars are easy to convert? I'm wondering if the 2 kits, they look the same. So far, they're pretty easy to convert. I've done the champion and 3 guys, and they all have I'm using the extra left-handed weapons off the old Gas Warrior frame, which I need to scrounge more. I've only got 15. But it does mean that I should be able to make at least 15 guys with 2 extra, like with extra hand weapons, and then another bunch with the shields. I don't want to do the shields, but some of the shields on these guys are they're on their backs and not really easily to convert. So I'm just gonna make it do as best I can. Because while I like rules and I like form, and I like function, I like form as well. And I still want to be able to paint these cool ass new Chaos Warriors and not have them look too hacked up and like I didn't know what I was doing. What are we at? How Chaos Gods were born? Oh, Jesus. All the bad shit you think about, that became a Chaos God, basically. Was that Peter Griffin thing? Why did the dinosaurs all die out? Because you touch yourself at night? Basically, yes. All the bad shit you ever thought about, it's millions of living things over millions of years made the Chaos Gods. You just keep thinking about bad shit and it turns into the Chaos Gods in some alternate dimension. James Tilly says, fantastic idea. I'm glad you're back doing this. Thanks, Tilly. I'm glad I'm doing it too. It seems to be something people enjoy. Am I going to make this guy the clubber? I haven't used the club yet. Yeah, I'll just give this guy double clubs. Why not? He's the bone breaker, because all of my miniatures need to have a name. Because all good miniatures should have a name. I have so many Chaos Knights to paint too. Oh my god, it's going to be ridiculous. John Best says, you're the man. Thanks, dude. That's awesome. What else we got? Josh Freeman says, what do you prefer in your channel? Someone with an amazing theme or paint job army, but not an amazing player, or an amazing player with a terrible painted army? Dude, I don't care. Either one. It doesn't matter. Like, it's your hobby. All I want to do is have a good time playing a game. I don't care if somebody whips my ass and does it in style with like a just okay painted army. If they're just fun to play against, like how having a good time hanging out and playing a game is more important to me than any of those things. How well somebody paints or how well somebody plays. Because, like, I'll be honest, even the best player can get bad dice. But if they're a dick when that happens, then I don't want to play them. If they just roll with it and have a laugh and have a good time, then that's the best for me. So much of what I do just comes down to, like, you know, this is just me and my friends hanging out and having a good time, and I think that's what translates on camera. So I hope that that's what you people see, because that's really all we're doing. We're just hanging out and doing things. Talmar says, unrelated, this is not a test. Has come out with several new expansions since you last covered it. You're going to do more? Well, I do need to talk to Joey about doing some reviews, at the very least, because I think the last one I reviewed was the Laceland Handbook, but that was before the new format for GMG reviews. So if you're in those groups and talking to Joey, let him know. I mean, I should just probably Facebook message him because we chat quite a bit. But it's more just me remembering to do that, which is always a problem. But if you're interested in seeing me review the World's End Publishing stuff, I'm more than happy to review anything. And as we all know, I love This Is Not a Test. Starlight Nightflame says Slambo. Yes, the greatest name of all for a Chaos Warrior. Lee Winston re-listened to the podcast. Sweet. And John Bess's favorite Infinity model. Oh, God. That's hard to say. Of all time? There's been so many Infinity miniatures now. Favorite Infinity model of all time? Probably the old Paracommando sitting on the ground with a machine gun. I think he's awesome. He's a great miniature. Taj Delk says, when are we going to see some Reality's Edge battle reports? When I get an opponent for Reality's Edge. And then Bearded Bookworm says, me and my friends and I had armies that are basically just prime, had a blast playing. Then that's what's important. Just have a good time. That's what matters. Having a good time is the most important thing. And it's not about having fun like you're both yelling and shouting. Like, it's about having fun of, like, you both just came to have a good time. You know, like, having a good time is an easy thing to do if people aren't very focused on trying to win, I guess, more than anything else. I think that's it. We are done. It is 1:52. So yeah, tell me in the comments if you're watching this later on if you enjoyed this. Obviously, I'm realizing halfway through that, like, my hands should have been here for most of this and not here, but I can fix that the next time we do this. This was so spur of the moment. I just didn't feel like sitting in the cold. And so that was how this came together, and I needed to build some Chaos Warriors. I got 3 of them done. I'm gonna see how many more could I do. How many more of these guys could I do with extra hand weapons? That one's shield is built into him, so not this one. I think about half probably. Yep, one more, so this guy can definitely have an extra hand weapon. And so can this one, I think. Yeah, these two. There's at least 2 more where the shield is totally separate. 3 more where the shield is totally separate that I should be able to make. So at least 6 out of 10 I can do that are all double-handed weapons, or sorry, extra-hand weapons. And I'll fill that in with old-style Chaos Warriors, and then I'll just use the rest of these with old-style Chaos Warriors with shields and just have 2 units of 10 to start off with. Some of this are one so much of the other. I was hoping to get over 10. I wanted to get to 15, because if I can get to 15, then there's some wiggle room where I don't lose my reroll saves. As soon as I lose one guy in those units, it gets all messed up. But we'll see. What else am I looking for? I think that's it. I think we're done. Great live show. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you had a good time. Nick Marchand, your banana hands were visible enough, Ash. Thank you for my banana. What was that from? His hand banana was Oxygen Hunger Force. That's right, yeah. My meat hooks. Anyway, hope you guys had a great day. I think we are done for now. And yeah, we will head off into the blue, and I'll go get the boy. So we'll see you next time for more of this. Ton of Ash. Have a great day.